This week, the tech world was shocked by the sudden and unexplained firing of Sam Altman, the now former CEO of OpenAI. Most people thought there was an as-yet undisclosed scandal, but none surfaced. Soon it became clear there was a standoff between the company's board and its investors, based on a difference of philosophy which was not clearly explained. As we wait for any dirty laundry to get aired, let's talk about OpenAI.
Heather thinks about software.
As usual, I will try to cover some of the technical and legal backstory that you might not hear elsewhere. OpenAI has been the darling of the tech industry for the last year. Its current fundraising goals would put it on track to be one of the biggest unicorns in the US. But there are a few reasons why OpenAI probably can't live up to its own hype. OpenAI made a big splash by releasing ChatGPT in late 2022 and followed with updates this year. But OpenAI did not invent the core transformer technology behind ChatGPT. That was originally from Google. So that's why so many companies have been training up their own models lately. The barriers to entry in LLM development right now aren't about technology, they're about resources. OpenAI trained ChatGPT 3 and 4 using a lot of data, a lot of money, and a lot of compute cycles. The problem with this is that ChatGPT has a thin first mover advantage. Each iteration of a model takes tons of resources to produce. If OpenAI continues to draft on existing tech and keeps building new models, it will be in a never-ending race that will require immense capital and resources without significant economies of scale. That's not sustainable. Meanwhile, many of us are waiting for breakthroughs in machine learning training technology that will make the current training methods seem like antiquated brute force. When that happens, OpenAI may not be able to keep up. Those breakthroughs likely won't come from OpenAI. In fact, it seems likely that the long-term winners in the AI business don't even exist yet. If they do, they're spending almost all their money on R&D, not training. The spat between the company's board and its investors is very weird indeed. In most companies, the investors control the board. So aside from the occasional activist investor, boards and investors usually don't have spats, particularly not public ones. But OpenAI is no ordinary company. OpenAI's parent entity is a nonprofit called OpenAI Inc., with a for-profit subsidiary called OpenAI Global LLC. That's a bizarre structure for a tech startup, to say the least. Nonprofits don't have shareholders, they have a board of directors. In contrast, the board of directors of a for-profit company is elected by its shareholders. The structure of control of an LLC is what we lawyers call flexible, which means opaque and idiosyncratic. But it's usually run more like a for-profit corporation. In any case, the board of the nonprofit OpenAI has dwindled over the years, down to 6 members, as other members left due to conflicts of interest and were not replaced. As a matter of corporate governance, small boards can mean less predictable decisions. To see how this odd structure happened, you need to read between the lines. In 2015, the original contributors for the nonprofit pledged about $1 billion to the project, but many did not fulfill their pledges. So in 2019, OpenAI transitioned from a nonprofit to a capped for-profit by creating a subsidiary LLC with shareholder profits capped at 100 times their investment. Just for reference, a capped for-profit is not really a thing in corporate law, but with an LLC, anything goes. OpenAI then got an investment from Microsoft for $1 billion into the for-profit subsidiary, along with a deal for access to Microsoft's cloud computing services. It then announced its intention to commercialize its products, but the for-profit entity is controlled by the nonprofit. The transition troubled initial contributors and generated criticism. It's a kind of a joke in the tech business today that OpenAI as a company name is beyond ironic. It's not open at all. In fact, open source advocates have generally viewed Altman and OpenAI as trying to set a narrative that avoids transparency in AI. They're pushing for regulation to forestall demands for transparency. OpenAI has justified its move away from transparency due to its need to compete, but that's circular logic. The level of transparency of AI is a philosophical debate, and I'm certainly not objective. I'm an open source advocate, at least some people say I am. But I think transparency is the only way to ensure responsible use of AI, not a spate of regulations that requires our government to police big tech companies. That's kind of like the fox guarding the henhouse, or maybe the lunatics guarding the asylum. OpenAI's latest funding round is set to value the company at $80 billion. That's right, a sorta nonprofit worth billions. That's bigger than the market cap on lots of existing public companies, including Boston Scientific and Mercedes-Benz. Could it really be worth that much? It's probably fair to say that OpenAI is the only company making significant money on large language models at the moment. Though GitHub's Copilot is in the running too, it's currently based on ChatGPT. Most companies that have released LLMs have not monetized them directly. They use them for research or to reduce costs, such as in recommendation engines and customer support bots. In fact, LLMs are probably difficult to monetize at a rate that will be profitable over time, at least not based on the current data and resource guzzling tech. In this year of tech business malaise, AI has been the only bright spot. The conventional wisdom for 2023 is that no company can raise money except AI startups, which are swimming in investment dollars. As usual, when private investors jump on a bandwagon, they tend to fund some terrible businesses. OpenAI is the superstar of startups today, but superstars have not fared well in recent years, tending to burn out or fade away. What do you think about OpenAI, transparency, and the business of AI? Tell me in the comments. Have a great week and see you next time. Liking and subscribing makes me think more.
Heather thinks about software.